Ever wonder what scams looked like 15 years ago? It's 2007. Auntie Judy is doing her weekly grocery shopping at the wet market when she gets a call. A stranger claims that her son has been kidnapped, and if she doesn't pay the ransom of $50,000 in 1 hour, his life is in grave danger. Panicking, she heads to the nearest bank, and after being warned not to tell anyone, wires her life savings to the scammers. What does a phone kidnap scam in 2007 have anything to do with the online phishing scams in 2022? If you look carefully, both rely on the same tactics to scam victims into action.
I would say that the psychology behind scams are basically the same. I mean, even the scams themselves have not changed too much. It is always utilizing that few principles and that few hacks, if I can say, into the human mind.
So why do we keep falling for scams over and over again? Scams are a lucrative business. In 2021 alone, victims in Singapore lost almost $633 million, with losses increasing sevenfold in 5 years. And as 90% of scams originate from other countries, recovery is near impossible. And with almost every aspect of our lives going online, scammers are finding it easier to reach us more than ever.
Our life is very intricately intertwined, with electronics and devices. So a lot of times these are platforms which, hackers, scammers can easily gain access to, and they can cast such a wide net internationally that, we start to see scams becoming more and more, common.
Money is, I think, the end goal that the scammers want from the victims. But of course, there are other things that's valuable too, such as personal information, private data, things like your IC number, bank account details. Normally, scammers do not operate alone. I think even in the recent OCBC scam, right, arrests were made in Singapore, so definitely there was, not just one person. It's always a cat and mouse game. Scammers will find new ways to scam victims, and then we will have new ways of closing out the loopholes or vulnerabilities that the scammers will use.
While system vulnerabilities can be patched or fixed, but what about the weak spots in our psychology and instincts? How are our emotions being exploited?
So the traditional belief is that only older folks will get scammed, but I don't think that is true anymore. Nor would I say it's been true ever. Anyone can get scammed, and the more you feel you won't get scammed, the more likely you probably would be. People who are utilizing social media platforms, digital devices, are more likely to fall prey compared to those who are not.
Gone are the days of older folks who are less familiar with technology being at risk. The modern scammer guns for everyone. Scam cases in 2021 almost double from those reported in 2020. Why are we increasingly vulnerable?
I would say that Singaporeans are not resilient to scams, but that's not because they're not psychologically resilient. It's just that our environment is as such that we are always busy, we're always stressed out. Therefore, that really affects our rational thinking from time to time. We are often respectful of authority, and sometimes we don't question when scammers pretend to be them. Ultimately, I think we make a lot of assumptions because of our busy daily lives, and that makes us easy prey.
So, how can we protect ourselves? Perhaps the first thing is to realize that we're not immune to scams.
Yes, scams are actually like falling sick. Even in the pink of health, even if you exercise well and eat healthily, you can sometimes still fall sick to sickness like cancer. Even if you are very vigilant, even if you are very aware, scammers can still make use of unexpected attacks to get to you. I think the best way of defense is definitely education. There must be a balance that is struck right by the businesses, right, in the effort of education, and also by governments to protect any loopholes or close out any loopholes for attacks.
And while there's an increase in education and raising awareness of scams, too much of a good thing can be bad.
In apps, they'll send us the messages about scams and to be alert. But many a times after we read it 1 or 2 times, we'll probably be like, just tapping them away, not really wanting to look at it anymore. There has been a lot of extensive coverage of scams in the newspapers. The details are a lot more, and they talk about the people on the ground who has been scammed because of the fact that the details are there, and the characteristics or the demographics of the individual is there, and they're just like you and me, and therefore we can identify so much more with what is written, which is a little bit more extensive. And I think these are all good ways of educating our public.
Scamming is going to be endemic in the society. We will have to continue to build up immunities to help the vulnerable members of the society, but there's no silver bullet to get rid of all scams.
Still, it is important to stay vigilant, slow down, and verify information. Don't give away personal details and passwords. And seek help if you've been scammed. Because at the end of the day, scams are here to stay.